I better know my ultimate destination 3 years from now, so I will know where I need to be 1 year from now, so I can chart the course and know what lane I'm supposed to be in. I love the study that says the greatest predictor of your future earning potential is your ability to look off into the future and make decisions today that will pull that future forward.
Hello and welcome to the Remarkable CEO Podcast, a show dedicated to chiropractors who want to transform their job into a business so that they can have a remarkable practice as part of a remarkable life, not instead of one. With your hosts, Dr. Pete Camiolo and Dr. Stephen Franson.
At Genesis, we help successful chiropractors implement spinal decompression with a fully turnkey system that handles everything from marketing and new patient generation to systems, protocols, and ongoing support. The result? Massive value for your practice and life-changing outcomes for your patients, all without drugs or surgery. This is the next evolution in chiropractic care. Welcome to Genesis. Welcome to another episode of the Remarkable CEO Podcast. I'm All right. Got a little excited. Welcome to another episode of the Remarkable CEO Podcast, chiropractic's #1 business podcast. I'm Dr. Pete Camiolo.
And I'm Dr. Stephen Franson.
Hey, docs, what got you here won't get you there. We're about to put a pin into this conversation. This is a leadership conversation today. It's a leadership question. I hope to pin a few of you to the wall. I've done it already this week, Dr. Stephen. I know you probably have too. Hey, we got to pin ourselves to the wall, Dr. Stephen. So we did that right before this call or before this episode. So, hey, we're coming in hot. It's a big week. Lots of masterminds, lots of awesome things happening inside the remarkable world. Hey, we're on a mission with you guys. We want to help more chiropractors, help more people. We know the only way that we fulfill our mission is if you fulfill yours. And today we're having a conversation that's going to cause us to ask ourselves the question of who do I need to become? In your journey to becoming the fullest expression of who God created you to be, the leader that you are called to be, and have the impact that you are designed to have, you've got to live inside the tension of the gap of the question, who I need to become. And what we're proposing today, Dr. Stephen, is that what got you here won't get you there. And today we want to unpack where maybe there are some opportunities, some threats for you in terms of your position as a CEO, your team, and ultimately your purpose being fulfilled.
Dr. Pete, I love this conversation because this is what I call a pick your head up conversation, right? So I want everybody to metaphorically and actually physically pick your head up right now, right? So as CEOs, this is our posture, head up, eyes forward, okay? So we need to be looking into the future. You are the visionary of your business. You're the leader of your business, right? So this is why we need to complement our office manager / COO to be the yin yang in our leadership team. The visionary, our job is to be looking forward, right? Our accountability is for tomorrow's revenue growth. Our office manager and our COO, their authority and accountability is around today's profitability, right? So we need to be picking our heads up and looking forward, looking into the future. And today is very much a future-paced conversation around who do I need to become, right? So the pick your head up and having this hard conversation, this is the type of conversation most CEOs do not have. They don't stop to have because they're in the busyness of looking down at the quagmire of today's operations. Now, you're either looking forward and helping pull your business forward and growing, or you're lost in the detail and the quagmire of today's operations, right? So guys, we're going to pick our heads up today and we're going to look ahead, right? So we're going to take a moment. We're going to look back. Right? We're going to assess, we're going to look back, we're going to look at the last iteration of our business, and we're going to look at ourselves as leaders. What was the last iteration of us as a leader? What did that last iteration require us? Who did we need to be to lead the last iteration of our organization? We knew to grow up and become the next iteration of this organization of our business. We needed to grow up as leaders. It was going to ask more of us as a leader of the next iteration. Well, the same is true for all subsequent next iterations of the business. You need to ask yourself, what's the next iteration of our business going to ask of us? And Dr. Pete, you said it best, is what got us here is not going to get us where we need to be or where we want to be. In fact, I would say that what got us here will be exactly what keeps us here, right? So it's what will keep us from getting to the next level, right? This identity conversation is really important. it's one a lot of CEOs just avoid because it's a hard conversation, right? So it's brutal facts, the love language of the remarkable practice. It's who do I need to become, right? So we talk about 95% of our problems are people problems. Well, guess what? Very often we're the people, right? As the leaders, it's like, who do we need to become? So this consciousness, this self-awareness, this is an identity question, right? So an identity question. If we want better outcomes, we're going to need to have better behaviors, right? So we know that we can't do an outcome. We do behaviors that drive outcomes, right? So we've also tried to just modify our own behavior or our team members' behavior or our patients' behavior or our kids' behavior or our spouse's behavior. And we know that at best that's short-lived. Well, it's because our belief systems, which make up our identity, organize our behaviors, and our behaviors drive our outcomes. So today we're going to talk about identity, behaviors, and outcomes, and pulling forward the next iteration of our business.
So Dr. Stephen, one of the frameworks that we teach is that we are pulled by our vision and pushed by our purpose. And you talked about this pulling, and we want to today, again, like you said, eyes up. I love the framework of your eyes up, your head up, tomorrow's growth. That's what you're accountable for. And growth is the evidence of every healthy living organism is growing, right? So we need to make sure that there's growth in your business, and that starts from the inside. It's the inside out job, right? It's a above down, inside out job that we grow from within, and so it's always an inside job. So the question of who do I need to become is an inside out unearthing, right? It's this idea of discovery. The vision I had when you were talking was if you were looking, because you said everybody's got the head up, good posture, and I thought if you're in the vehicle, go ahead and put your eyes in front of the rear view mirror and look in your own eyes. Like look in your own eyes. And while you're asking yourself this question, who do I need to become? Talk to yourself. Because as you look at yourself in your own eyes in the mirror, maybe you've done this if you've watched yourself on a video, if you're watching yourself on Instagram or something, you're watching yourself, listening to yourself. You're like, you probably are analyzing yourself. You're saying, I wouldn't have said it that way. Probably should have had the camera at a slightly different angle on that one. Didn't like the lighting over there. I'd say that differently now that I'm listening to it back. You can analyze yourself. Guess what? That look back, Dr. Stephen, is the audit of your video. If you could play the video of the last 90 days, the last 6 months, the last 1 year of your story, the question is, how have you been showing up? And you said something, Dr. Stephen, right before we pressed record, which was that the old version of you isn't enough. I'm not saying you are not enough. I'm saying the old version, which is the not reaching your full potential, not the fullest and best and complete expression of who you were created to be, is not enough. I'm not saying you are not enough. I'm saying that version of who I showed up to be is not enough for who I'm going to become next. This isn't you're a failure. This isn't a condemnation conversation. This is a invitation to continue to elevate as a being, as a living human being, that we're all called to a higher level of being. And this is that moment. And so what struck me, Dr. Stephen, was as I go through any new person that ever comes inside of the remarkable practice who I get to help onboard and work with and serve as their coach, I always go through the 6 sides of the Rubik's Cube. And whenever I go through the 6 sides of the Rubik's Cube, it's my favorite thing. I mean, it's a slow down to speed up moment, as you know, but it's worth it because I say, hey, let me help you understand exactly how we're going to help you solve the problems and the issues that you've got going on. I'm going to make it really simple for you. It looks like this. It's a Rubik's Cube. And I said, it's not a simple puzzle to solve the business puzzle. It's a complicated puzzle. And there's like a level of complexity to it. There's 6 sides, but there's 9 different squares and there's a million different iterations. So when you go to solve one of them, which I always say is like, hey, this looks good, man. We're doing good. We're on our way. But as soon as you go to solve the other side, next thing you know, it looks like this. And you're like, man, I just jacked up the one thing I thought I had figured out. I thought I had that locked in. And you're like, yeah, exactly. Now you screwed up that one side you thought you had solved. That's what happens oftentimes. So it's not an easy conversation to have today. This is a complicated situation that we all find ourselves in, which is we're trying to build remarkable businesses without sacrificing our remarkable life, one that supports it, but one that complements it and even integrates with it. And that is rare air. There's very few that get up to that level that are able to accomplish this. And so we're saying we're in it with you. We understand the weight of the conversation. We understand this challenge of this. And I want to present to you the opportunity to ask this question with a framework. You know that we organize all of our energy in 3 frames of time. You harness the resources that you have. You marshal the team's resources that you have in terms of what's important now, answering that question, then what's important next, and then what's important ultimately. You guys have heard that before. If you listen to this podcast, this is the song we sing. You work with us, you know that this is the feet to the fire conversation. Hey, what's important now? It's a question of prioritization. What is important now? Let's go to your marketing department. Let's go to your sales department. Let's go to your retention department. Let's go to your team department. Let's go to the business office department. Let's ask the question, what's important now? We need to have an answer for those questions. And we can get more and more sophisticated and granular as we build more remarkable businesses. We need to be, and we will. And if you work with us, you know that's where we drill down. The what's important now is an important question. It's a prioritization of what's important right now. The second question is what's important next. This is like you said, pick your eyes up. You're looking ahead and you're thinking in the next 12 months, like what's important as I look ahead with my head up as a CEO, thinking about tomorrow's growth, what's important next? And then we step up even a little bit higher and we come up to a little bit of a higher perch and we say, what's important ultimately? When I look 3 years out, when I get a little bit further view, what's important even just 3 years from now? And that's the question I want to ask us today is when you ask yourself as a leader, who do I need to become? Who do you need to become right now? In this quarter, in this next 90 days, if you were to say this next 90 days, whenever you're listening to this, it doesn't matter when you listen to this, because I'll just say from now for the next 90 days, who do you need to become? What's important right now for you in this next phase of your development as a leader? With an eye on looking ahead of what's important next, meaning what's coming up next in the next 12 months in terms of your vision of what you see happening for your business. What does success look like 1 year from now? Where are we going to grow into? Who do I need to become as I grow into the next 1 year from now? And then as I go up a little bit higher and I look ahead further and I say, okay, 3 years from now, who do I need to become in that iteration as I'm journeying into my future growth? Who will I be becoming in that? So, Dr. Stephen, the first is just identifying that we're answering this question in a timeline.
Yep.
Okay, if this is the XY axis, we're looking ahead and we're saying, okay, now, next, and ultimately, as a leader, who do I need to become in order to achieve the vision that we have, the growth that I'm accountable for as the CEO of the organization, because I'm the chief growth officer. You're accountable for growth. Who do I need to become? And then, of course, you're going to answer the same question is who do we need to become? And invite your team to step into that same question that say, who do I need to become as an individual in the marketing department, sales department, retention department, team department, business department? Who do I need to become to help us achieve this growth? Now, next, and then ultimately. So Dr. Stephen, that's one frame. The other frame is the axis, the y-axis, where we're actually talking about the roles that you identify with. We talked about identity. So we've taught this, but you identify yourself in 3 different functions inside of your organization. You're an operator, you're a CEO, and you're an investor. So inside of the operator function, right, when you think about yourself as an operator, in the question of what's important now, who do you need to become as an operator in the next 90 days? When you look at what's important now and you look at yourself as a CEO called to work on the business, who do you need to become in the next 90 days as a CEO of your business? And then when you look at yourself and your role and your function and identity as an investor, and you're working above the business in the next 90 days and asking yourself, what's important now? Who do you need to become as an investor in the next 90 days? That's the question, Dr. Stephen, that we're asking is, in this growth journey, in you as a CEO, organizing yourself as a leader, who do you need to become as an operator in the next 90 days? What's that story look like for you? Who do you need to become as a CEO? Who do you need to become as an investor? In the next year, what's important next? Who do I need to become in each one of those roles? And ultimately, who do you need to become as an operator? What does that look like in the next 1 year, in the next 3 years, as a CEO and as an investor? Dr. Stephen, if we answer the question, we start to look at ourselves in a more broad way, more specifically, but more broadly, more comprehensively, you're going to have a much more realistic challenge on you're going to come up to the challenge of, you know what, who I was yesterday, the person I was, the adult version, you're going to come very quickly to the realization that it's not enough.
You know, Dr. Pete, as I hear this, the metaphor, I love to drive, right? Like I love cars and I love to drive. I think for vision casting, the metaphor, driving is a perfect metaphor for good vision casting, right? So it's like, where do your eyes go when you're driving? Like good driving. I'm from Boston, which I think we won the 10th year in a row, notoriously the worst drivers in the world, right? So I would argue that. I think we're just the most aggressive and maybe just compassionate drivers in the world. So you are offensive driving if you're in Boston. They keep changing the roads, right? Those old goat paths, right? So you got to be on your game. You're not there to make friends. You're there to make rights. So when I'm driving, like tonight, I'm going to drive up to Maine. I'll pull out of my driveway. I'll get on 95. I could do that drive in my sleep, right? So I jump on 95. I bomb up to Maine tonight. I won't even have to think about it. I'll use the force to get there, right? So this past weekend, I drove to Boston, right, with my wife to go pick up Emma at the train station. When you're driving into Boston, you've got to be on your game. Like you've literally got to be. It is. She's my co-pilot. She's got, we're following a GPS because the roads are dynamic in Boston. There's always so much construction. You just know what's going on. You're flying down the tunnel, and you've got to be aware of what's coming up ahead of you, right? To be able to drive well in the city, right? So you've got to know, what's coming up next. You can't be focused on like when I'm driving up to Maine tonight, I'll drive a stick. So I'm looking at the tachometer maybe, and I'm looking at my speedometer to make sure I'm, staying reasonable, right? So I can pay attention to what's going on in the tachometer. You can't do that when you're driving in Boston, right? So if where are you looking? You're either looking at your dashboard for the immediate feedback, or you're looking at your rearview mirror to see where you've been, or you're looking out your windshield and you could look right in front of your car, like at the tip of your car, or you're looking down the road, right? So when we're talking about this last, now, next, and ultimate view, this is vision casting, right? Last is the past. You're looking at the rearview mirror, right? So now is the dashboard. It's looking at your dashboard. It's giving you real-time feedback for where you are right now in the moment. Next and ultimate, that's knowing where you're headed. Like, what's your destination? You're not going to be able to get to your destination if you don't have the context of knowing this is ultimately where I'm trying to get. So when you are reading signage, whipping through the city and going through the tunnel, and there's like solid white lines, and you better know what lane you're supposed to be in, right? So it's like, and you've got to be able to look all around you, 360 degrees of awareness. You cannot take your eyes off for a second, but you need to be able to know, like, all right, so I know I'm going to have to get to the South Station, I'm going to need to take 16A, and I'm looking at the signage knowing I need to be in the second lane, not the third lane. I need to be, don't be in the fourth lane. Don't be in the first lane. First lane's turn only. So you've got to be able to say, I know ultimately where I want to get, South Station. So I know that the next move is I've got to get over to the second lane because I've got to take the exit 16A to get to ultimate destination, which is South Station, right? So when you're talking about now to next to ultimate, the ultimate is the 3-year view of where are you going ultimately? Where do you want to be in 3 years? And based on where I am today and clarity around where I want to be in 3 years, what must be true in 1 year for me to be able to manifest what I want to do in 3 years, right? So when you're looking at who do I need to become to be able to manifest, to be able to lead, what is the vision of the business 3 years from now going to call for me, require of me 3 years from now? What attributes am I going to need to have? What new skill sets am I going to need to acquire? What knowledge base am I going to need to be? What levels of maturity? What levels of certainty, conviction, clarity, and compassion? What levels of communication? What levels of confidence is that business going to require of me 3 years from now? I better know my ultimate destination 3 years from now, so I will know where I need to be 1 year from now, so I can chart the course and know what lane I'm supposed to be in. I love the study that says the greatest predictor of your future earning potential is your ability to look off into the future and make decisions today that will pull that future forward. I'll say that again. The greatest predictor of your future earning potential is the ability to look off into the future and make decisions today that will pull that future forward.
It's good. I think about you driving because I've been with you driving, and now I'm thinking about South Station, and I'm thinking about the airport and all the other places we've driven in Boston. And you're hitting it on the nail on the head, because there's complexity, right? Because there's people on the left and the right, and there's merging, and there's all the things, and you realize, like, that's what it feels like on a Monday.
Yes.
Like, you're going into your office, you're listening to what we're saying, and you've already got so many things in motion, right? You've got your business, you've got your life, you've got all this, and then you're listening to this podcast and you're like, all right, guys, this sounds really great, but I've got, it's Monday or maybe it's Wednesday since this drops on Tuesday. Maybe you got it a day after. And you're like, yeah, but it's Wednesday and it's hump day, man. I'm just cranking away and I'm head down, bum up. And now you're telling me about this idea of visioning and now and next and ultimately. And what's the value of it? The value of it is you're going to get to your destination. The value of this as a CEO is like, you don't have the luxury to not do this. And the casualties and the consequences along the way are that those that you've been called to a lead and you've been entrusted to serve, you're going to inhibit and limit the impact that you're able to have because of the lack of vision, the lack of foresight, the lack of strategy, and the lack of planning. So we're going to give you guys a tool, a resource. It's called the Vision Grid. And you can get it from this episode. You can grab it as a download. It's hot off the press, guys. And what we want to do is we want to make this really easy for you to do this exercise, which is I want you to answer 2 questions. The 2 questions are, in the grid, you're going to see on the x-axis, you're going to see now, next, and ultimately on the y-axis, you're going to see your 3 seats that you sit in, your 3 identities as an operator, as a CEO, and as an investor inside of your business. And the 2 questions I want you to answer in each box is, what is the belief that I need to have right now? And what is the behavior? What's the one most important behavior that I need to be? Because remember, beliefs are what organize your behaviors. Behaviors are what drives your outcome. Okay. So what is the belief? What is the behavior now? What is the belief, the behavior next? What is the belief and what is the behavior ultimately? What's the one belief? What's the one behavior that you're going to need to be, that's going to guide you, be your guardrails, your guide as an operator, as a CEO, and as an investor? Because ultimately, for you to fulfill your purpose, for me to fulfill mine, for all of us to fulfill our purpose, you're the only one that's accountable to this. And like Dr. Stephen, you've shared with us many times, the definition of success is where 3 things come together. Your vision, what success looks like, your core values, how you actually behave, organized into your action steps, what you're actually doing. That's alignment. And alignment is the definition of success. My hope, Dr. Stephen, that everybody who's listening to this, if you do this exercise, is that you would actually be a person living in greater alignment. And to me, that is remarkable leadership. My friends, remember, what got you here won't get you there. Let's go.
Hey, Remarkables, let me ask you,
can you imagine generating more than 600 qualified new patient leads per month? How about seeing 183 new patients in 1 month? Imagine your practice generating more than $100,000 a week in collections, on track to doing over $5 million this year. Sound impossible? Well, those are the real results that TRP's own Dr. Bobby Ilyajozovic is enjoying as we speak. Those are his July numbers, and August is going to be even better. Coach Bobby has been a new patient generation machine for nearly 10 years. I know because I've been coaching him since day one, but now he is going totally bionic. He has cracked the code on new patient generation, and he is ready to share it all with you guys. Do you want to get in on this? Join us for the annual Remarkable Attraction Marketing Immersion, October 10th and 11th in Phoenix, Arizona, and October 24th and 25th in Adelaide, Australia. Coach Bobby will be walking you and your team through every step of his remarkable lead machine system. Click the link in the show notes below and register your team now. But Dr. Bobby's sessions are only one of the reasons that you and your team need to be at the Remarkable Attraction Immersion. Let me ask you, have you started using AI to drive new patients into your practice yet? There's a new era in marketing that's powered by AI, and it's creating a surge of new patients for docs that know how to leverage it. Don't miss this wave. Our team of experts will show you exactly how the most successful marketers are using AI to generate record numbers of new patient leads in internal marketing, external marketing, and of course, digital marketing. Have you developed a fully leveraged marketing machine where you'll have total confidence that you'll predictably smash your goals month after month after month? Stop leaving tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table due to lackluster internal new patient referrals. Stop wasting time and spinning your wheels trying to figure out how to get butts in seats for your outside speaking events. Stop throwing good money after bad on digital marketing that's just not working. Doc, you should be seeing a 5 times to 10 times ROI on your marketing dollars. Our clients are crushing this. This weekend seminar will feature a 3-track format focusing on optimizing your internal, external, and digital lead generation. 9 breakout sessions in total, with a special emphasis on best practices leveraging AI for all of them. Bring your team. Everyone in your practice is a marketer. Let us inspire and equip them to help you fill your schedule book with more qualified new patients. Join us for the annual Remarkable Attraction Marketing Immersion, October 10th and 11th in Phoenix, Arizona, and October 24th and 25th in Adelaide, Australia. Click the link in the show notes here or go to the remarkablepractice.com events page and register your team today.
Please stick around for more business insights from this week's bonus interview with our remarkable success partner dedicated to helping you more successfully help more people. Enjoy.
All right, guys, so today we've got a special guest on the show. I'm speaking with the awesome Alan Poric from AP4 Wealth. And this is someone, guys, who, when it comes to all things wealth management, retirement planning, insurance, so many of us haven't really got this figured out, or the last time that we looked at any of these things were potentially years ago. But it's something that we know everyone at some point in their life is going to face. They're going to face, these events that happen in our life that if you just line up all your ducks properly, when those events happen, you're going to be covered. You're going to have peace of mind. You're going to ensure that everyone's being looked after. You're being looked after. Your family's being looked after. And I don't know anyone who does it better in the business, guys, than the guys from AP4 Wealth. And today I've got Alan to join us on the show. Alan, what's going on, man? Take us through a little bit about AP4 Wealth. I know you guys have been doing some splendid work with chiropractors when it comes to the things that we just chatted about. But I'd love to know a little bit about AP4 Wealth and what is it that you guys offer everyone?
Dr. Bobby, thanks for having me. Look, we're essentially obviously, we're a growing financial planning business. We're specializing in superannuation, insurance, retirement planning, and investment. Our big focus, I guess, is focusing on the chiro niche clients, because obviously they've got a lot of work on to do. They're very busy people. You guys obviously have a very demanding role. So what we do essentially is we come in and we work out how we can fill in some of the gaps, especially around the insurance front, because a lot of you guys have families, high income earners. So essentially, if anything was to happen to you, we would obviously need to make sure that there's gaps that are filled there to ensure that, you get a positive outcome.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about that. So I know this is a conversation that, early in my career, I made sure I took seriously. And talk to me a little bit about what you recommend in terms of insurance. So obviously, as a chiropractor or as a chiropractic assistant listening to this, but especially chiropractors, business owners, we're high income earners, like you said, and obviously you're usually the primary breadwinner in a family. And so you guys have products where if things were to happen, because let's face it, life happens. So let's remove the word if and insert the word when things happen, okay? Because as life goes on, things happen. Injuries are inevitable, okay?
Yes.
Accidents are inevitable. Death is inevitable. And what you guys do is you help us get the structure set up properly on time so that when those things happen in the future, we know that family's being looked after and we've got complete peace of mind that we're, working now to be able to set our family up for a lifetime essentially in the future. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So a lot of clients that we work with, along with the chiropractors, they essentially have default insurances that were set up when they first started working through like default super. So what that means is there's actually no contract between you and the insurer. So if anything ever happens to you, the insurer doesn't know anything about your health, doesn't know anything about your occupation. And where we come in is we try and set you up with the best policy for a chiro that they can have in terms of the insurance offering. So some insurers are more specific to blue collar, some are more specific to accountants. Some insurers really want to specify and specialize with chiropractors. And that really then helps get you a positive outcome, because if we can make sure the definitions align to what you actually do, if you do make a claim, the process is a lot easier. Because remember, an insurer is always first to not want to pay you out. But essentially, if we do all the work beforehand while you're still quite healthy, then we can make sure you get a positive claim.
Yeah. So what I heard there, and I want to make sure I repeat this for everyone, is the better, the more thorough, and the more work essentially you do before an event, the easier, more streamlined the process is after the event. Is that right, Alan?
Yes, 100%, 100%. And that's why, there's different structures you can have, like when it comes to paying insurances through your super fund. So it helps with your cash flow. But there's also structures when you're protecting your income to pay out of cash flow. And because you guys are earning quite a good amount of income, you can claim that as a tax deduction. So there's different ways of structuring it. But I think our expertise in the field of dealing with, particularly in the health industry, shows us that not every insurer will be covering you for specific conditions based on that occupation. So
Yeah, spot on. And I love what you said earlier. What makes you guys unique? It's not to just, you'll toss any product our way, but you'll obviously look at, all right, what's the right product based on specifically the chiropractic industry. You guys know the industry well. I know that you do all of my stuff. You do a lot of stuff for a growing, emerging amount of chiropractors within our tribe. And so you guys are going to tailor solutions that works best inside of the chiropractic industry.
yeah, that's right. So essentially, like, as a chiropractor, your business structure, your setup, it's quite specific. So understanding what a chiro even does for work, what they do during their daily routine and all of that, that actually helps us determine potentially what policies and best outcomes we can have. So it's really understanding what a person does within their job. I think that's where we sort of a little bit different to other advisors.
Yep. I love it. And on that note, I know that obviously insurance is a large part of what you guys do at a rock star level for officers.
Yeah.
It's not the only thing, however, you guys do specialize also in wealth management and future retirement planning as well. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. So we focus on superannuation. So building up, your superannuation, because ultimately that is what you're going to be left at in retirement. So essentially, we focus on the investments in there, also strategies around how we can structure it so you can pay less tax by using your super. But we also do investment planning, so manage funds, ETFs, direct shares. Now, a big part, I think, of what I guess, as chiros you guys like to do is you like to obviously purchase property. And usually sometimes the best way of doing that is potentially through a self-managed super fund, right? So I guess that's where we come on board, because we essentially need to give advice that as SMSF is created and an investment strategy is done. So I think, focusing on those 3 to 4 areas will sort of hold you in pretty good stead.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. A lot of chiropractors do love to eventually buy the premise that they're practicing in, right? It's property play. So self-managed super funds is definitely a large part of that. So you guys can help with the organization, the setup and the management of that too, right?
Yeah, 100%. So we project manage that. Obviously we would deal with an accountant potentially to set that up. We'd also deal with the solicitor to make sure that, all the lawyer stuff is done as well. But essentially we're doing the investment strategy on top of that. So it's a bit of a project. It's a team effort.
Yeah, love it. So I guess my final question, Alan, is I'm listening to this podcast right now. Who is the right person to contact you? So if I'm listening to this and maybe I haven't done my insurances at all, that would be like an emergency red flag. It's like get on top of it ASAP. The earlier that you do it, the more affordable and the better the outcome is. Or maybe if I'm listening to this and you know what, it's been over a year since I reviewed any of my stuff, who'd be the right person that should reach out to you guys on the back of this?
Look, it can be a single person. It could be someone that has a young family. I think, when you actually realize how often claims do happen and injuries do happen, I mean, making sure that your loved ones are protected. So I do truly believe, people that have anyone that they love in this world, that want to make sure they're going to be not financially burdened, is definitely somebody we want to see for the insurance space anyway.
I love it. That's exactly what I did. I did this with you guys way before I had children or family, but that's a great way of putting it. Anyone in this world who has someone that they love, guys, remember, okay, you're doing it for them. And I know, you guys often get up on stage and say, hopefully, the worst doesn't happen. But I'm just going to be very real with people and say the 2 things in life that are guaranteed are death and taxes. So
100%.
I actually look at it from a different angle and say, when this happens, wouldn't you be thankful to make sure that you do all this on time so that insurance, everything is sorted and you know that, yes, the people that you love are absolutely looked after. And the future is bright for them either way, right?
Absolutely. I think that's the biggest one. Like we've had probably 4 meetings this week where a client has had cancer, mental health issues. It's everywhere. So sometimes I guess when we speak about it, we don't want to be morbid to the point of making someone feel very anxious about things, but essentially claims are on the rise. Mental health is a huge thing and you never know what's around the corner. So I think making sure that everything's set so that way you don't have to sell off assets if anything happens, is definitely something you want to work on.
Yep. Nailed it. So there you go, guys. So if this is you listening to this and you need to sort out your insurances, you need to sort out your future planning, your wealth planning, guys, get on top of this thing on time. What do we do, Alan? Just get in contact with you and next steps will be organize a meeting, have a chat with you guys, jump onto a Zoom call. Is that right?
Absolutely, yeah. So we have online inquiries on our website. where you would put your name, your mobile number, and your email. My mobile number is also on our website and the details. The lovely Remarkable Practice.
Yeah, we'll
All
leave
our
everything in the
details.
show notes. So that guys, it's easy. If you just jump in the show notes, there'll be a link in the show notes that you can just go straight to Alan's details and then literally book a call with Alan or his team and then get on the phone and have a chat with you guys, right?
Yeah. So the first, the discovery meeting is complimentary as well. So it's about where we actually work out what we may need to do. And then after that, we could obviously have discussions going forward. But the first meeting is really just to get to know each other and see the lay of the land and how we can help you.
Yep. There you go, guys. So organize it on time, discovery meeting. You guys get it there. These guys are fantastic. Like I said, they look after all of my stuff and a growing amount of docs within the TRP community. So get this organized in time. And it's something that you can then sleep peacefully at night, knowing that all your ducks are lined up in a row. Alan, thanks so much, man. I appreciate all the work that you do, not just for us, but for chiropractors in general. I know that you guys are making some waves in the entire industry, and it's definitely something that's been needed.
Thanks, Dr. Bobby. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, man.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Remarkable CEO Podcast. If you like this podcast, please subscribe, share with a friend, and leave us a review. And if you'd like to connect with us personally, direct message us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Remember, what the world needs now is chiropractic, and what chiropractic needs now is more successful chiropractors.